After the disappearance of his friend, American Chris Rivers decides to travel to a remote Welsh countryside to investigate what has happened, which leads him to a dark apocalyptic cult in this Lovecraftian cosmic horror feature-length film from Wagyu Films. It was directed and written by David A. Roberts. After joining the Wagyu team in 2005, he started off by doing small, short commercials. In 2020, he did the short film Embers. Also in 2020, he did Wait and Afterlife in 2021. His full first-length feature film is Older Gods, which is in 2023. And he's also set to direct the sci-fi thriller Patriarch. This film mainly focuses on two people. We've got Chris, who's played by Rory Wilson, and Billy, who's played by Ewan Coombs. And the music for this film is done by Jerry Buckfield. This is Older Gods, and this is my spoiler-free review. I'm Ali, and welcome to BackAlly Horror. And today I'm talking about the movie Older Gods. This film was filmed in the Welsh countryside in the UK, which is where I currently live. So that's really cool. And it was filmed with only 7 crew members, including cast and photography, during lockdown. So for this film to have such a short crew, it's absolutely stunning. The location they picked is absolutely gorgeous. The editing and everything like that is just absolutely stunning. It was so beautiful to watch. We have Chris Rivers, who's the American, has just found out that his friend Billy has committed suicide. Now he doesn't believe this and he thinks something's up, and he goes on like a wild goose chase to investigate what actually happened to his friend. His friend has left him some breadcrumbs and some information, so he goes to the remote Welsh countryside to where Billy was last seen. He finds his package that Billy's left him, and inside this is a bunch of research, drawings, words, newspaper clippings on what he was investigating with his team. Now, the overall premise of this film is basically the primordial fear of the unknown in the universe and how little we are compared to the grand scheme of how big the universe is, and what's out there we don't know. And that's what Billy was investigating. As Chris investigates this, it leads him down to learning more about this apocalyptic cult that Billy then found, and also they seem to then turn up in this remote countryside where Chris is, and things start to happen to him. He descends basically into madness, and it's about finding the truth of what happened to his friend Billy, whilst also trying to survive this apocalyptic cult, trying to find out what it is that Billy was researching in the first place. And what the answers, what is this older god, what is this cosmic being that this cult is worshipping, and what do they believe in? That's the basic gist of this film in regards to a spoiler-free review. So all I will say is that you definitely have to go into this film blind, so I don't want to give too much away, because it is very important to go in blind to this film in regards to get the full reactions that you need, and because otherwise you're not going to really appreciate the film itself. Chris Rivers, absolutely amazing in this film. This is like his first full-length feature film. He is so he's like the only character you see properly in this movie, so it's all focused on him, and he owns that camera, he owns that screen. You are sucked into everything. You really want to know what he's doing, what he's finding out, what happens to him. He is phenomenal. He's brilliant in this. So there's a lot of themes in this movie which I feel are really poignant. So you've got the theme of guilt, grief, anger, pain, acceptance and rejection all in one, and it is just like the perfect balance of the stages in which you go through when you go through grief, or you go through loss, and you go through guilt. So you have to go through them, I think it's 7 stages of grief, until you can finally accept that that person that you once loved has unfortunately gone. You are not to blame for their passing. This is a very much down the rabbit hole kind of film, and the more you watch it, the more deeper down that rabbit hole you get. And I think that the way that this film is filmed in itself, the cinematography, really does bring you into that space of being down a rabbit hole, despite being you have these wide shots of being in the Welsh countryside, and there's so much space around you. You feel so alone and small, and that's the whole fear of cosmic horror in itself, is being so small with all these horrors out there that could be out there in the universe. And I think because this was done deliberately in regards to the cameras that they used in order to get the wide shots. They used anamorphic lenses and 40mm wide lenses to get the shots of the wide space. Yet Chris is just literally in the middle of that scene alone, no other cast, no other interactions with people, unless it's over the telephone or in the mind. He's there in that small space, and with that wide angle, it really, really makes you feel so small and so vulnerable. When you've got the cult members around, again, that darkness is coming in and you feel so vulnerable and you feel so small and feel so alone. Like you're in the middle of nowhere. Like, so when they were filming it, they were saying like an hour away from any town or village in the Welsh countryside. So when you were watching it and you feel so secluded, like he can't just get in his car and or like shout for help or run to the nearest house, because there isn't one. There isn't a telephone box. There's really rubbish signal, which actually happened to be the case when filming, is this rubbish signal. So you really are secluded in this place, and you are basically, you have, all you have is yourself and the things around you, and your will to survive is basically what is put to the test. And that is another thing of the themes, in the sense of Chris is grieving over his friend and he feels like it's his fault that he took his own life, and he could have been there and he could have helped more. So like he doesn't want to survive or has the will to survive, because he doesn't feel like he deserves to survive. If he wasn't there for Billy, then he deserves to be where Billy is now. And it's all about getting over that, and will he eventually get the will to survive in the end. In regards to like the visual effects and any props or CGI and stuff like that, they're all amazing. And if you go onto YouTube, I will put the link in the description below of their behind the scenes footage and stuff. It shows you how certain things were filmed and edited, and it's really great that they have all these behind the scenes footage available on their YouTube page. They have cast interviews and directors interviews as well. It's really good stuff on there, and it really lets you into the details of how this film was filmed, because it clearly was a passion project. Like, it was filmed during COVID. Like, most people were like, oh, we'll just wait. Like, so this was in the middle of UK's first and second lockdown, and literally they just found this location and they stayed there, they filmed there. The 7 cast and crew members literally just all lived together, and they filmed in the hottest week of the year that we had, unknowingly to us that it was going to be the hottest week of the year. They had no running water, they had no phone signal, and it was just like, but yet this film did not get affected by that. This film is beautiful, even though it's like Wagyu Films' first feature-length film. I can put it up there with like The Void and The Ritual, like in regards to acting and the aesthetics, the looks, the sound, the music was amazing. Like, oh my god. And one other thing I wanted to talk about as well, which I thought was absolutely stunning, because I think with such a small crew and literally all being done like by not these big companies, like, so like they had evidence in this package that Billy left for Chris on this call and what they had been investigating, and you see all the sketches and the newspaper clippings, and literally all that was hand drawn or handmade, translated into different languages for different countries of origin for the newspaper clippings. And the sketches were done by Keith Lupton and Andy Sexton, and they had all the forensic sketches done and everything like that, and they were absolutely stunning. Like, oh my god, like my first thought wasn't oh my god, like trying to work it out. I was just like stunned by the creativity in all these individual pieces, because they zoom in on each an individual piece as well. Like, it's not like in a big film where they just quickly like, oh look, we've got all this. They've done it so literally if you pause that film at any point on any of that evidence, you can check the spelling, the translation, the drawings, the mathematics, the forensics, the terminologies, anything you want to check, you pause it on that and it'll be fine. There will be no problems. It's all correct and it's all detailed and it's all done properly, because they know that if there was just one piece of evidence out of place, that one person, because there's always that one person who's going to pause that film and be like, there's a mistake. So they covered their asses on that. And I think when you have small crews that do that, and you can then really see the passion and the love for this film come out in so many different ways. As like I said, it's absolutely stunning. The story is brilliant. the story is so intriguing. Like, from the first scene is deliberately done to set you on a path, and then it completely throws you off and it does something completely different. It goes in an opposite direction and you're like, what's going on? So you're staying there to find out what the beginning was all about, and then you end up just like by halfway, not that you forget about the beginning, but you're so intrigued by everything else and everything that's going on, and you're so invested in the character and finding out if Billy really did kill himself or what happened to Billy, that it's every little detail is so important, and you are down this rabbit hole with this character on this adventure. And it was such a great film to watch. Genuinely give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's a solid film. It's really good. I think Lovecraftian, or the Void and the Ritual of films that you like, then you will definitely like this film. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say without spoiling anything, because I just can't. I just really enjoyed it, and I know that I went in blind, and I know that was the best thing to do, because if I knew anything about it, the moments that needed to be suspenseful wouldn't have been suspenseful. The moments that needed to be shocking wouldn't have been shocking, or all that. So go watch it. Again, it's on Prime. It's called Older Gods, done by Wagyu Films, who are the reason for this video. Thank you for reaching out to me and asking me to review your film Older Gods. I really do hope that it gets a physical media release, and if it does, I shall be definitely buying it, and hopefully I can do a little unboxing on this channel. Yeah, Amazon Prime, Older Gods. Go and check it out. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Thank you for watching my video, and until the next one, stay horrid.